Hello everyone! MILGRAM finally released the Purge March yesterday, which means I have to upload again, but to be honest, my whole body tried to fight back opening the editing app. I actually haven't been doing nothing while waiting for Amane's second trial MV. Recently, I have uploaded some funny MILGRAM shorts on YouTube. Please watch them if you are interested. I'm planning to do more and then upload a compilation here as video. Other than that, don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, I'm on my knees. Without any further ado, here are the things I'm going to talk about. Finished reading. Okay, let's start the video. The cult uses 4 mascots for advertisement. The first one is Gachata, the serious robot. Yuri, the compassionate big brother. Rione, the healthy tomboy. And at last, Gozake, the mysterious monk. I'd say the first two aren't as important as Gozake and Rione. After everyone was introduced in magic, we see what their occupation is in the cult right after. Except for Rione. Right after she was introduced, the cat gets accidentally hurt. I think it was intentionally. Just like Amane intentionally meeting the cat, it was all planned to see what Amane is going to do. Also, I don't think the mascots are based on certain members of the cult. They represent the general idea of the members, but more about that later. After a member saw her, he immediately reported it to her mother. Normally, when something is out of the ordinary, it should be immediately reported to the higher members in the cult. He reported it personally to the mother, because Amane's father is an important figure in the cult, but not a founder. I'd say Gozake is the most important yet most hated mascot by Amane. Not only does the colour blue appear a lot in the MV which represents him, but she fears his torture method the most. He's also the only one who wears a religious robe like seen Catholic priests wear, meaning he is the one most connected to the religion behind the cult. In the Amane Army March, there are clouds following her. These clouds represent the cult watching her even in her mind. They are even round, meaning Amane never really saw them as any kind of form of danger. In the march, every Amane has their own flag with a mascot on it. While every mascot flag was in the air at the start, Gozake's is the only one that lied on the floor disrespectfully. Meaning deep inside Amane, she didn't actually like or believed in the religion of the cult. His flag appears again, but this time Amane throws it high up to supposedly catch it again, but failed to do so. Not only that, but the flag aka Gozake hurts her, meaning anything related to him only brings pain. Hence even the whole MV is in a blue tone and it's raining a lot. It shows how depressing Amane's environment is. After Amane failed to catch the flag, the leader of the march, Amane, who has already been brainwashed into following every step of the cult, gets really angry and punishes her. Even leader Amane believes she herself deserves this punishment. In magic, we see that every mascot has their own way to punish someone. Rione's to electrocute them, Gachata's to verbally assault them, Yuri's to physically assault them, and Gozake's to drown her in ice-cold water. So, when Amane, who carried Gozake flag, accepts to receive Yuri's kind of physical punishment, she starts to look even more terrified when she realizes it's actually Gozake's drowning punishment. Even while she is drowning, she is trying to grab to Gozake's flag again to apology. It then cuts back to the reality, where she gets punished with water by her parent. I have seen a lot of people mentioning that Amane killed her father and yada yada. There are a lot of evidence that it was not the father, but instead it was her mother. Evidence 1. In Trial 1, she said her father is currently on a trip for the cult. Evidence 2. On the door of her house are several papers hanged up, and on one of them is a paper that said, "Come to Yuichi Momose lecture." Evidence 3. If you have MILGRAM Premium, you have access on seeing some behind the scenes of the MV and being able to have early access. I don't have the premium account, but I stumbled on a leak of the behind the scenes on TikTok. And in one scene, when her parent pulls out a taser, the animators wrote down "mother's hand," meaning it was always Amane's mother who has been torturing her. Her prison card and flashback also shows a bathroom where the supposed murder happened. The floor tiles in the flashback look like the usual tiles bathrooms have. The bathroom in the prison card doesn't necessarily look like the room we saw in the MV, but it's a shot from a different perspective. In the flashback, we see a person laying dead on the floor. This is definitely Amane's mother, and her laying on the floor is similar to the last scene we saw in the MV. We also see in the parade that Amane is twirling the baton really amazingly, without any mistakes and hesitation. And then there is suddenly blood on the baton. The baton also changes to the umbrella. In the real world, I believe Amane beat her mother to death with an umbrella. Something funny I have noticed is the rain in the flashback. Before watching the MV, I thought it was actual rain there. But afterwards, it's actually Amane spraying water from the shower head on the dead body, just like her mother did in this scene. I believe Amane did not only beat her mother with an umbrella to death, but also used the same torture methods that her mum and cult used to punish someone. So far, we have not seen the faces of her parents, even though they are quite important to her and her murder. We have only seen the hands of her mother and nothing else, not even hair or her back. We only see her hands because there is nothing else Amane has or wants to remember of her mother. It was always her hands, and the physical violence and torture she used with them. Amane never has seen her with her eyes. The same goes for the father. He is mostly always on a trip for the cult, so much that even Amane doesn't remember how he looks like, even if there is a picture with his face glued on the door. Actually, let's talk more about her father, Yuichi Momose. Her father is definitely a member of the cult, and he goes to trips for the cult. We are not sure if he is one of the founders, but he holds lectures for other adults. He is speaking about topics like how to spend time with your family, protect your home from worldly temptations, how to get along with your neighbours and have respect for general medical facilities. I believe the latter one seems to be contrary to what Amane said. Perhaps the cult simply respects medical help but don't take part in it and forbids it in their circle. But outside of it, they don't hate it openly, just ignore it. Protect your home from worldly temptations. Sounds to me like not owning a TV and not condone to any other form of entertainment outside the cult. We see Amane watching TV at the end of Magic. I believe every cult member has a TV, but it only broadcasts the programs the cult has prepared. What Amane was watching at the end was a children's show made by the cult that presents their beliefs and teachings. Meaning behind the mascots are not actual people. They are just characters created for advertisement and to attract as many children and families as possible. Also, I don't think having their own TV program is the only thing the cult owns. I believe they also run a private school for the children, based on Amane's and the girls' uniform. A private school is quite expensive, and based on what kind of living conditions Amane and her mother live in, they wouldn't be able to afford it unless it was run by a cult, and members have free access. It just shows that Amane's entire environment consisted of the cult. There was no way a 12-year-old like her would have been able to escape. There are just a few lyrics I want to talk about. Sounds like an opening for a radio station, or morning TV broadcasting. This could be the opening for the children's show I have just mentioned. Those are like a lot of words. I believe this is meant to everyone who is stepping out of the line in the cult. Seems like a bedtime story told to kids, so they follow every rule or the monsters will hurt them. That's quite terrifying to tell a 12-year-old. That's Amane talking directly to her mother who abused her. Vow means breaking any rules in the cult, I believe. That's Amane talking directly to S and Us who didn't forgive her. She is threatening S and Us. Are things that her mother probably said to her, and Amane is now repeating them to her. This actually makes me want to cry. Amane is reminding her mother how she was begging for forgiveness, but was ignored by her. And now that her mother is apologising as well, Amane is now ignoring her and reminding that she suffered way more. After the cat was killed, that's when her defence mechanism is turned on. According to Google, a defence mechanism is an unconscious psychological operation that functions to protect a person from anxiety-producing thoughts and feelings related to internal conflicts and outer stressors. She actually gives herself fault for not following the cult since the start and for always doing mistakes. Not only that, but she sees the murder of the cat as a sin as well. Since she doesn't know who did it or who snitched on her, she gives her the mother fault for everything. She probably believed it was her mother who put these things on display as well. So after she killed her mother, why didn't her unwavering faith stop? Like I have mentioned before, it's her defense mechanism. She is a 12-year-old girl who grew up in an unhealthy environment with an abuser as parent all by her own. She had no other way to escape but to fully believe in the beliefs of the cult and to reason her murder against her abuser as a responsibility and natural obligation of her cult. That's why in the voice drama she explains that she wasn't brainwashed. Instead, she wants to believe in her cult. The voice drama was so scary yet so hilarious as well. Like I was scared for 1 second and suddenly at the next laughing my arse off because S and Amane are acting like siblings bickering. Like I was not accepting it at all. When talking about herself, Amane says we instead of I. This resulted from the verdict she received in Trial 1. I think when she attacked S with the scissors, she hoped to actually getting through the barrier. Because she wasn't Amane yet, she was. She also refuses to acknowledge being brainwashed and that she herself made the decision to still believe in her cult. S says they understand but they won't acknowledge her beliefs, and that they would give a proper verdict if they find more about her. That's when Amane starts to threaten not only S, but us again. Amane knows about our existence, or at least that S is also hearing voices. Not only that, but she then holds a whole speech about how MILGRAM and the trials are made by God. Shidu, who is interfering by helping Mahiru and Futa, is according to her taking away their fate, giving by God, and that she has to interfere if he continues. We know that Shidu will not stop helping the others because he promised this in his voice drama. This also means if Mu or Haruka get physically hurt, Amane might stop Shidu. Now, why am I suddenly talking about the trolley problem? I know this topic annoys people the hell, but I still consider it a possibility. Amane is able to put Shidu and everyone else in danger. And before anyone says Shidu is able to defend himself, because he's a grown-up man. No, he is weak to children because they remind him of his own. And like I said, Amane is quite smart and knows how to play her cards. Also, he mentioned in his voice drama that he has no time for her, and that some other adult has to take care of her. I believe in the possibility of Amane attacking Shidu or sabotaging his medical tools and putting blame on him. I don't think she will be able to kill him, because the prisoners will interfere since I'm pretty sure they are, all aware how important Shidu is to them. If they do, then Amane will probably just sabotage the tools in some kind of way, which could risk to anyone's death depending on what she does. That's why I called this segment the Trolley Problem. If we don't forgive her, she will definitely be a danger to everyone, even with her restraints. We already saw her being able to sneak in a pair of scissors to the interrogation, and not hesitating to hurt S. She will still suffer under a lot of stress, worse than now. If we were to forgive her, she wouldn't be restrained like now, but still able to hurt Shidu. I think if we forgive her, she might reconsider it. I was going to mention the voices might be able to change her, but she literally said in the voice drama that she is ignoring them. I don't know how to continue this segment, so let's continue to the next one. Just like the title says, here are some questions I still have that were not answered in the first trial, or currently in the second trial. Does her mum actually believe in the cult, or is just using it as a reason to hurt her? What is the meaning of the reoccurring rainbow? Why is the little girl carrying a balloon with her? Could the balloon mean that they are new to the cult? Or to go door to door to advertise the cult? When will MILGRAM finally stop hurting innocent animals? Was Amane's family in other cults before? Or what do the missing stickers mean? Were the stickers removed so that no child has an individual identity? Is Amane's dad cheating on her mum? It would be another reason why her mum is hurting her out of anger. And on trips for the cult, could it be possible that Amane's is an unwanted child, meaning she resulted from a one-night stand, and the mother is now forced to raise her by herself, but receives financial help from the father under the condition that Amane is going to be part of the cult? It would explain why the father is actually absent, why her mother is abusive, why only her home looks messed up in comparison of the other doors. It's kind of known that cult focuses on people who live in cheaper areas, and it would mean that this is her real father, who is picking his real daughter up. In my opinion, the man we saw doesn't really resemble Amane's father, but it could be an older picture and her mother still has it hanged up. Sorry for suddenly starting a complete new theory, but I thought it was good to mention it now, since it's an unanswered question, and I don't have enough evidence to back it up, except you think that it was enough, or you have more evidence. As I said before, I struggled thinking about a verdict after listening to the voice drama. My mind works like this. If I'm not sure how to vote them after the MV then, I will choose my verdict based on the voice drama since the voice drama was always right so far. For example, in Trial 1 in Haruka's voice drama, he seemed to enjoy Earth's beating because it reminded him of his mother and he saw physical violence as some sort of affection. We all didn't pick up on this part. And later on in Trial 2, him seeing it as affection actually turned out to be true. Amane being able to sneak in scissors during the interrogation and not hesitating to kill someone might be foreshadowing to what might happen in Trial 3. Also, Amane is ignoring the voices in her head. Whatever we say to her will not be heard. Maybe it will change after we forgive her. In conclusion, it's really hard to make a decision, but I'm leaning to forgive her. I mentioned some things that speak against it, but I trust Amane to not actually do it after she isn't in any emotional stress anymore, after being forgiven. I trust the other prisoners as well to defend Shido if it does happen, and seeing what she had went through makes me want to forgive her more. I think overall giving her a judgment is just like what her parents did to her. Also, I can't wait to read the answers in the interrogation because it could change my verdict after reading her answers. I better hope you all question her things that could help us in some kind of way. The same goes to Kazui. We need every clue possible. Other than that, that's my verdict until something in the interrogation happens. Thanks for watching. Don't forget your daily votes on the MILGRAM app or website. I will now enjoy my break with some nice shows until Makoto's second trial MV starts. Bye bye.
はひふへほー